Hello, everyone. Welcome back to The Binge by Barstool. I am flying solo today. If you haven't seen on Instagram, Pat is currently traveling around the U.S. on some trip with High Noon, and I'm rooting him on because if he wins, not only does he get money, but he gets a shore house, and then if Pat gets a shore house, I'm there every weekend. So, again, just flying solo this week. A lot of people are out of the office on that trip. And you know what? That's okay because I watched the episode 5 of The Real Housewives of New York, and I obviously have a lot to say. I always have a lot to say. It kind of kicks off with everyone at dinner. They're talking about sex a lot. I feel like the theme of this entire episode was just sex. Everyone's talking about it. Leah is getting reprimanded by Ramona. Ramona saying that it makes her uncomfortable when Leah talks about sex. And then Ebony chimes in with the most epic thing ever saying, wait, Ramona, did you just say that you can take a big dick? Excuse my French, guys, but this is what was said on the show. And Ramona gets so insulted. And honestly, I am Team Leah and Team Ebony. Ramona is the biggest hypocrite. She loves to walk around in these little skimpy lingerie things. They have clips of her taking pictures. She loves to be sexual and she's probably having a lot of sex off the show. But then when all of a sudden it's time for the cameras to be on her, she is Miss Prim and Proper and can't talk about sex. And I'm with Ebony and Leah. You could be a classy woman and still own your sexuality. And I think Ramona needs to chill. I thought that scene was absolutely hysterical. I love that Ebony could just say stuff and then own it and keep it moving. I think she's quickly becoming my favorite character on this season. And Ramona was just being absurd. She was saying WAP. She kept saying the word dick. She was talking about erections. And it's Ramona, stop acting so innocent. We know you're having a lot of sex. I 100% agree with Leah. We all hear things. Stop pretending to be so prude. Just own it, Ramona. And then Ramona, as always, is just shady, saying that Heather didn't get the chic memo because Heather was dressed like a normal person for a paint class and everyone else was dressed like they were going to the freaking ball. Cut to them at Luann's house, which is super cute and super quaint. And I thought that the idea of them doing the whole art thing was super fun. But Luann actually thinking that Sonia would be into Alfredo had me dead. First of all, Alfredo, as in fettuccine. I couldn't get past that name. His teeth were so white, they were blinding me. Sonia was so not interested, but Ramona said it best. She was like, Sonia's type is Luann's type. And if guys like that were around, Luann wouldn't be introducing them to Sonia. And I couldn't agree more. I thought that was a really good observation. So Sonia obviously wasn't having it. And Sonia was secretly very shady this entire episode, in the corner making little comments. And I was here for every single thing that she was saying because she was spot on. We'll get into that in a little bit though, because I want to talk about the whole artist situation. First of all, I was mortified watching this through the screen. I felt embarrassed. If I was there in person, I would be bright red. I would not be able to look at this naked man in front of me without blushing. And I thought that they actually handled it pretty well. I can't believe he even voluntarily signed up for this, knowing that they're all going to be gawking at him and making comments, and then this is going to be all over TV. I thought he was such a trooper, but them talking about him naked was beyond. I thought they would make one or two comments and then try to keep it classy. No, they couldn't stop. Leah said that he had a in-betweeny, not hard, not soft, in-betweeny. They kept talking about the size. It was just, again, very, very sexual episode. And Ramona, the hypocrite, strikes again because Mrs. I don't like to talk about sex is the one to be he has a really pretty penis. It's Ramona, pick a side. Are you prude? Are you not prude? Can we talk about penises? Can we not talk about penises? I don't understand. The lines are getting blurred. So again, Team Leah, Team Ebony. Ramona's a hypocrite. Then Ramona's somehow bringing up Leah's grandmother's, who's tragically passing away, and she's making Leah cry harder. We already know that Leah's on this emotional roller coaster. And then it brings us to the lunch. The infamous lamb curry, which like I think I'd pass. And also like they make Garth seem like he's God. I don't understand. He's just a regular tall man. I don't think there's anything. They're acting like he's Hercules or something. So now they're at lunch. Ebony is such a good friend to Leah because you could tell even though she doesn't always agree with everything, the way Leah's reacting, she always still kind of has her back. And I think that's what a true friend does. And you could see the dynamic shifting because Sonia is slowly becoming team Ebony and Leah and kind of distancing herself from Ramona and Luann because you could tell by her little shady comments, the undertones that she is team Ebony, team Leah. And I love that for Sonia because I could tell just by watching Watch What Happens Live that Ebony and Sonia are still friends, which makes me think that this is just the beginning of their relationship getting closer. We're at the lunch, the lamb lunch, and all of a sudden, sex comes up again. I mean, it was brought up every 2 seconds. Ramona's basically saying it makes her feel uncomfortable. Ebony's like, if it makes you uncomfortable, I won't talk about it. That said, I don't think it's wrong to be an educated woman and talk about sex. I don't think they go hand in hand. At some point during this, Leah storms off. She's having, a freak out because obviously she's very emotional. Ebony's left alone. Sonia's kind of standing up for Ebony, but kind of in a sly way, not super outwardly. And somehow education gets brought up, Catholicism. Luann says something about how, she and Ramona were raised in a Catholic household, and because of that, they're more conservative. Somehow education gets brought into it. Ebony states the fact that she is in fact more educated than everyone there in terms of degrees and schooling. Luann, the Countess, who wrote a book on etiquette, obviously is going to take offense to that. Like, it wouldn't be Luann if she wasn't offended by that. So now Luann is fighting with Ebony about who's more educated, saying that she speaks 3 languages, yada, yada, yada. Race gets brought into it. The entire conversation just was like taking a million turns. At the end of the day, though, I still am team Ebony and Leah. I'm curious who you guys think. Comment down below whose side you were on. I agree. Education and sexuality don't go hand in hand. You could be extremely educated and still be sex positive. I think that Ramona needs to stop reprimanding Leah and telling her how to act. She's still treating her like she's her child. Honestly, Leah's way younger than them. So I understand how that dynamic could be natural for them to fall into this like mother-daughter dynamic. But Leah's a grown-ass woman. And if she wants to talk about sex, if she wants to make her own choices, so be it. I don't get it. Like, I don't understand why Ramona is so fixated on Leah's actions when Ramona's best friends with Sonia, who gets wasted and falls at parties or causes fights and does all these things, and Ramona just excuses it. And then the second Leah says something that Ramona doesn't like, all of a sudden she's like, that's not classy enough. It makes no sense. There's such a double standard. So I am firmly on the stance of the younger ladies. Maybe I just resonate with them more. But I think that, it was really, really rude for Luann to kick Ebony out of her house. I think it was extremely dramatic. I think she really just holds herself to this high standard, and she felt as though Ebony was insulting her intelligence, which I don't think Ebony was trying to do. So I think Luann was just like, I'm the Countess, leave my house. So we'll see what happens next week. I will have a co-host back with me next week. Pat won't be back, but I'll get someone else in the office that enjoys talking about Bravo with me. And I hope you guys enjoyed this week's episode. Please don't forget that we also upload these on YouTube. And yeah, keep following along. We will be updating you all season long for the Real Housewives of New York. And comment down below if there's any other shows that you would like us to recap. Thanks, guys.